Here's what I think, Rob. I think before we say anything, before we get into this amazing race, one of our listeners has it right on. We asked what they want to talk about, and he has the most hard-hitting question that we'll discuss the whole podcast for the French Grand Prix. Excuse me, I mean the Australian Grand Prix. Thank you, Nick Harris. Which is, let's talk about what the fuck was that umbrella beast that was standing by Alex Rins, I believe. For real.
Hey, Umbrella Girl.
No.
Umbrella Girl.
Umbrella Beast. That was no woman. That's a man, baby. You know what I mean? That's a man, baby. I mean, I have been proudly that we don't post pics of Umbrella Girls. We don't really objectify women too much. Like, there's only a handful of off-limit topics on BrotoGP. A very teeny tiny smidgen of stuff we won't talk about. One of them is we try not to alienate our female crew too much. But that wasn't a chick. That was a swinging dick dude, okay? That was a dude. It was Jigsaw from Saw. That was a guy. And if there's one thing we do on this show is we rip on what dudes look like. I mean, dudes' appearances are not off limits. And that was a dude. I mean, a hairy dick dude.
You know what? Actually, when you said Jigsaw from Saw, it fucking popped into my head with the clown makeup and shit, and like, oh my god, it totally was.
It is her.
It totally was.
I'll repost it. I didn't want to post it on our Instagram because it felt like kind of bad. But, I mean, I posted it to our stories. I'll repost it. If you look on our Facebook, this was Jigsaw straight up. And this is some clever viral marketing if that's what they were doing. They're peppering Jigsaw throughout the MotoGP podcast for Halloween for, like, Saw 9. That's some next level shit. And I gotta give them props for sprinkling Jigsaw throughout the French Grand Prix. I mean, the Australian Grand Prix. So
I got a quick question, though. Like, so we need umbrella dudes. Like, there were at the previous round or at Aragon, I'm pretty sure the grid, like the grid people that stand along the side and hold the row markers, it was half chick, half dude. Like, I'm totally cool with umbrella dudes.
Oh, hey, if you want to have some shredded beefcake dude in a pair of hot pants, Monster Energy style, I guess cool, whatever. But, like, fuck, I don't know. I was just confused.
But
and that's cool. I
mean, guys are trying to be gender neutral. You can't. You gotta just. There's a lot of different things in this world, and that person can be who they want to be.
You know what? I bet they were beautiful on the inside.
That's right.
I bet they were beautiful, and that's you know what? That's cool. I'm not hating. I'm just saying, if that was Jigsaw marketing, I've been giving Dorna a lot of crap, and I gotta eat some crow sandwich a little bit. If we see him pop up, closer to the front on the grid, like, what's going on? That was like Pennywise shit there. Like, he was like saying, I have Saturday night specials down in this sewer from 2006. Come get these Michelins. You know what I mean? And then, bam! Ate his dick off. Bam! Rins his dick gone. One bite.
Somebody's got to redo the GP round, the French GP, aka the Australian GP round, and have like Jigsaw just kind of pop up out of the corner, like when somebody makes a pass, like, "Hey, Jigsaw, right here." Except
you want to play a game?
Yeah, exactly. But then it's got to be like a blend of like that person, and I don't know what to call them, and
that highly authentic person.
Yes.
It'll be like that video that came out a few years ago with like the racers at Laguna Seca like crashing into the bus, or like the fucking school bus like coming out onto the track. It'll just be like Jigsaw popping up and someone crashes.
Right.
That's what's gonna happen.
That's what really happens when the fucking someone crashed a safety car a couple races back. It was Jigsaw fucking with them.
Yeah, right. It wasn't the Michelin tires like overheating in the fucking blazing hot conditions.
Right.
Oh man. Yeah, I love the you guys like jumped the fence on each other. You switched sides here cuz Ev was just a little bit more accepting of the genders, and Kevin's just fucking Kev, you said it yourself. You're just fucking confused.
I don't try to pigeonhole me, brah. I'm fully accepting of how everyone wants to be. If you want to be binary, non-binary, fluid, it's all good. I'm not saying that dude dressed as a chick. I was bothered by the fact that was a horror movie ready to start fucking Saw style.
It was a...
And I'm not even joking. I got like 10 messages that morning because I watched it live. We all did, but a lot of our fans watched it the next morning, and it was literally a saved picture of the dude Umbrella Girl and then the Jigsaw Killer. Way more than one guy thought of that. That's not even an original idea of mine. That's a solid percentage of our fans being like, bro, what was happening there?
Oh, wow. I didn't even know that. Oh,
yes.
Shit.
A lot of...
There we go.
Metaphor of the rounds, a horror show. I don't know.
Right, exactly. Speaking of bro, what happened there at the Australian Grand Prix? The Australian Grand Prix. I don't even know what I'm going. I'm drunk on pumpkin cider already, but waiting for Everett to get going. But let's fucking start this bitch.
Welcome to BrotoGP. Thanks for tuning in. This is episode number 76. I don't know what we're going to title this one yet, but we got a lot.
The Australian gangbang.
I don't know if we can put that one in the title.
Speaking of messages, a bunch of people messaged me that post, and they're like, does gangbang mean the same thing in Spanish? I'm like, yeah, it does. He knows what he's posting.
Fucking Yonone and his porn Instagram.
Yes.
Oh my god. Oh, I can't even. Of course.
Oh, I can't even title a Rob sex tape.
Rob, did you start drinking early tonight?
Dude, I've been drinking for I think I've been drinking since 2:00. So what is that? 7 hours?
Damn, dude.
Yeah, it was a good day with some new clients.
I thought you got a job.
Yeah,
I did,
got the right kind of job,
and they bought me alcohol.
Right.
Oh man, you guys already heard it. Kevin's here.
What's up?
Everett's here as well. Everett got a new microphone.
I got a new microphone and headphones, courtey of Daddy Dennis. But then he
hates when we call him that.
I got my own challenges on my own side.
Yeah, he really does.
Yeah, I'm always the problem child.
Yeah, it's okay. We forgive you most of the time. You add the spice to the episodes. Yeah, so if you guys still have problems with Everett's audio quality, I don't know.
Shit.
I don't know what we're gonna fucking do.
Just keep talking shit. It's totally appropriate at this point. I've got no good reason to have a problem at this time.
Right.
There'll be something. They'll complain about my editing. I don't know. They'll complain about your audio quality. They'll complain about too many F-bombs. Something will happen.
Right.
I like how I just said fuck bombs instead of F-bombs at first.
Yeah. Hashtag fuck bombs.
Rob sex tape.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotta keep it rolling.
All right, everyone. Of course, this episode is brought to you by Riders Law. They're your California motorcycle accident injury lawyers. If you need any legal help, and especially if you're in the state of California, please give Riders Law a call. They will take care of you, battle with your insurance, make sure that you're made whole again from any injuries, and get you going. So if you ride a motorcycle on the street and you need some help, please give them a call. My coworker just actually walked into the room, and he's fucking recording me actually saying all this shit right now.
Nice.
And I'm a little weirded out. He might actually post this tomorrow. This is our new web designer too, by the way.
Right.
Because I'm really terrible at it. All right, let's
Is he the one we're paying in Hot Pockets?
Yeah, he paid him a hot pocket. Okay, yeah, exactly. Wait a minute, you want me to hack the internet?
He's like, wait a second, I'm getting paid in Hot Pockets? Like, oh, all right, I'm cool with that.
A solid The Core reference, the second best early aughts Thomas Jane movie, closely behind The Mist.
That's right.
When he heard that he was getting paid in Hot Pockets, he ran out of the room.
Right.
So and then he stopped recording me. Yeah, that kind of happened.
Right.
Damn.
I mean, they flew his ass down here. He's going to do something for the website.
Dude, they're Pizza Hot Pockets. Tell them they're pizza. Pepperoni pizza.
How are those Pizza Hot Pockets? The weirdest thing is, like, they're straight frozen. You put them in the microwave for, like, 12 minutes. They're still rock solid, like, Antarctic ice shelf frozen. But the inside is molten fucking lava. I mean, speaking of the movie The Core, I mean, if you dropped Hilary Swank in a giant diamond-tipped dildo and drilled drill down through the fucking Earth's mantle, you'd be going through Hot Pockets. What is going on with those things? I mean, how can they be still frozen on the outside, like in the microwave for 26 straight minutes, and there's still freezer burn on them, and the inside is like 3 steps away from the center of the fucking sun? They found that 2 neutron stars combined exploded and made gravitational waves the other day. It's like the biggest scientific discovery in person. They need to get to the bottom of how Hot Pockets can be both boiling and frozen simultaneously.
There might be some energy opportunities there. It could work out.
Exactly. Yeah, for reals, yeah.
Kevin, I can't believe you knew that obscure reference. That's like bonus
You
credit
can't
for
believe
sure.
I knew an obscure reference from a Thomas Jane movie? What are you talking about? You want me to hack the planet?
Yeah.
Remember the part when he says, how
Classic,
many
dude.
languages do you speak? And the dude's like, 7, actually. And then the nerdy guy goes, well, I only speak 1. 001001110. Binary code. But he's but hold on. He's explaining to him in the English language that he only speaks 1 language, which is binary code. That's 2 mutually exclusive statements, bro. You speak at least 2.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, you were
Fail,
every single episode you are now ruining people's memories.
Look, if you shitheads
movies.
want me to just talk about random movies for the next 2 hours, I can do so.
Spin-off podcast, everybody. Kev is now going to do movie reviews,
Right.
from obscure 2000s and 90s movies.
Speaking of things...
If you'd like Kev to go see new movies and ruin them for you, he will do that.
Speaking of dope things from the 2000s, everyone wants to act like this race was the greatest race of all time. It was pretty good and all. It was no Mugello 2006. And if y'all try to argue with me, your opinion is wrong. Choke on a bag of Alex Rin's Umbrella Girl dicks.
There is no way that this is the GOAT race, even of this decade.
Are those detachable penises?
Detachable penis.
I feel like... Damn it. I tried to keep that one going, but
Right.
you just... No, you went there with the penis jokes. No, I mean, so this came up a lot in social media already. Like, everyone around the forums is saying that this is the best race of the season. It's the best race of maybe the past decade. And I completely disagree. This race...
No way.
We knew who was going to win this race
Correct.
after like 5 laps. There was... It just... Marc Marquez, and I hate that we're talking about him first once again, but this race, you go into the race, or he goes into the race, he has a plan, he just gives no fucks about who goes out in front. Jack Miller ran away in front, Zarco ran away in front at some point, Rossi tried it, everyone pulls out in front, they all come back. Marc Marquez beats them.
Right, like, there's the problem. Like, yeah, it was a fun race. I'm not hating. It was one of the better races of the season. This was not, like, the greatest race of all time because we all knew that Marquez was going to win. I even posted, on social media and all that. I'm like, look, Marquez is penciling to win this. He gonna win this race. That's not really up for debate. This is this is a track that's suited for his style and making everything. It was fun and all, but this sort of sense of inevitability was the problem. Yeah, it was great to see Jack Miller up front. We all knew he wasn't going to win. What the fuck is he doing? It was cool to see Zarco up front, except he had the soft, the rear. We knew it wouldn't last. He's just up there to make a showing. The idea that Marquez might lose never was in question. He was going to win. That never crossed my mind. We talked a couple episodes ago about how the guy throws our expectations off. You can't even say anymore well, maybe he'll crash, cuz he won't. He probably won't. He crashes a ton in qualifying and practice and all that.
Did you see the stat?
Yeah, 25 crashes
Real quick, did you see that?
Which stat?
Yeah, but no, at PI specifically, he's finished one time, and I think he's never won there or something, but he's crashed out of 5 out of 6 or something. So
what?
It's kind of interesting, but that was the only person that was going to be Mark was Mark.
Right. Okay? The Marc Marquez was penciled in for that one. I just don't see him. It was a fun race. It was crazy. Again, Yannone was posting that it was a gangbang, which is cool and all. You know what I mean? that track flatters, rider skills and can reduce bikes that have problems. But, because it has no first gear turns, it's very flowing. Like, it really is a rider's track and lets them override bikes a little bit. But for me, all that fun bar banging action, guys running into each other and leaving, tire marks on it was great. It was fucking awesome. But no one thought Marquez was going to lose. And let me tell you the first of many conspiracies we will go across. We mentioned one of the things we're not supposed to talk about is very limited, but we will try to avoid politics in a serious manner. But not unlike massive amounts of bots all over Facebook and Instagram purposefully trolling just to fuck with people. I'm not convinced that all those fucking posters all over the internet that are saying greatest race ever aren't Repsol and Dorna technocratic conspiracy fake bots just saying that. I could go as just some shithead with an Instagram, get a bot, and start having it post whatever I want. They're trying to force you into thinking it was the best race because their golden boy won it. It's a conspiracy, I'll tell you. It's fake news galore, and I shall have none of it.
Hey, I mean, to be fair, I could have paid for those posts and not told you about it, Kev.
Fuck, just to rile me up? That's some meta shit.
Conspiracy insider.
Damn.
I mean, we need content for these podcasts. Like, if I can get you riled up about Marquez, about HRC, about Repsol, I think that would work out pretty good.
Riled Kevin equals listens.
Rob.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we never have a problem making content, Rob. Between me and Kev, we'll come up with some stupid shit and figure it out like hot pockets. Okay,
right.
So that's not the issue. But my question is, to you, Kev. This is my question for you: is why do you think people think it's one of the greatest races ever? Even if it's people, let's just say it's not bots. Let's pretend for a minute.
Because it's 21-year-old Spanish and Euro chicks who were in love with Marquez and his stupid fucking family that they won't stop showing on the television every goddamn race all the time that are just constantly posting. They're just drowning us out. They're drowning the dudes out. They're drowning the old-time fans out. They're drowning out, everything. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't even think the majority of fans thought it was the best race of all time. I think it's crazy to even say that. But if MotoGP keeps posting that it was, hey, man.
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, Iraq had WMDs. I guess. If you just keep saying it.
Another politic drop there.
Yeah.
There we go.
For reals.
No, I mean, the thing with the race with me is it was missing some really crucial parts that make a very interesting race. Like, yeah, there was shit tons of passing. A lot of them were really hard. There was tire marks on Rossi's shoulder. Like, Zarco tried to knock everyone off track. There was a lot of shit that happened every single lap. But we were missing the title tension. We were missing the tension of not actually knowing who was going to win the fucking race.
And we were missing the tension of consequence. Like, why does no one give a fuck about club races? Yeah, it's fun to watch because there's nothing of consequence. With Dovey back in 13th fighting for his I'm not going to let him buy team orders bullshit Jorge, you know what I mean? Like, Dovey's so far back, it doesn't matter whether Marquez wins or gets third. We're basically sealing the title right now. The consequence wasn't there. There was no impact. The reason it was so important to jumpstart the core is because the fucking Earth would die, dog. That shit was important. If it's just a scientific mission to find out what's inside the Earth, is it really a core made entirely of microwave Hot Pockets? That's cool, but there's no consequence to it.
I love it. I mean, yeah, if Marquez had actually went down, then Dovey scores 3 extra points and the title isn't blown wide open, right? They get a little bit closer and it's not that big of a deal. If Marquez does win, or say Marquez doesn't win, he gets second or third, he still pulls a crazy gap on Dovizioso that we wouldn't have expected. But you're right, there was absolutely no consequence. The tension in the title wasn't there because the two title challengers were way apart on the track and they weren't battling. Whereas you look at Motegi, and that's exactly the opposite of what happened. We had no fucking clue at Motegi who was going to win in the final lap. Marquez made that mistake. He gave Dovey a chance. Like, at Motegi, I'm like sitting on the couch watching the final lap thinking that Marquez has got it, and then something happens and I just scream at the television. That was not this race.
Right. And I'm not hating on it because Marquez won, because Marquez has won some amazing races. I mean, his rookie year when he fucking stuffed Jorge straight up the booty for that win, that was awesome. I mean, he has some epic wins to his credit, and it's not like, like that one asshole on fucking Instagram who says every time that Marquez wins, we're not going to record an episode. Because that one time we didn't, because Rob actually has a life on occasion. But, when Dovey, you actually didn't know who would win that race, Motegi, because normally Marquez comes out on top of the final lap tussles. That's his thing. And then we saw Dovey be like the first guy in a while to actually come out on top on that. Plus the rain, we don't know what's going to happen. That was really a holy shit, what's going to happen? And that's why I say, off the top of my head, Mugello 2006. You saw Kenny Roberts on a bike that had no business being on front, a Honda-powered KR-framed bike in Valentino and Nicky Hayden. It was 3 manufacturers, 2 title hunts, an old ex-champion. You didn't know what the fuck was going to happen. And I'll tell you right now, if people don't run on the track while the race is still going, it can't be in contention for best race ever. Because that happened in Mugello.
I forgot about that.
Right.
Oh man. God damn it. That race. We had to bring up 2006 at some point in this season in the podcast.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really good race, but it wasn't a tops race for me. I mean, the fact that Ducati and the other championship contender wasn't there, I mean, there's just a lot of things lacking. I mean, it was kind of cool how there were some satellite guys dicing it up there and going for the glory, right? Miller and LA. Well, LA's technically factory, but I mean, we never really
he
see
is
him
not
up there
technically
in the front half,
factory. For whatever reason, that team is still classified as an independent team because they're not a factory team. Aprilia joined with the independent team Gresini. They are considered independent.
They still have concessions because they don't have the results to get them removed.
Correct.
So that's the problem. But all right, I actually do want to move on. So let's talk about the difference between the satellite riders in this race and the factory riders. Like the one thing that struck out to me, and we've kind of already touched on it with Marquez just still beating everyone, is that when you go into these MotoGP races, you have to have a plan to win the race, especially in the Michelin era now with the running the softest tires and not knowing how they're going to last. Like, you can't give no fucks in these races.
You gotta have a plan. Like, you have to have you can't just get in a giant diamond tip dildo and, aim towards the center of Earth and go. You have to have a plan. And we saw they had no plan for what happens when there's nothing. Because they were in a giant crystal chasm, right? When you can't see nothing, they had no plan. You can't have no plan. I don't give a fuck. The Zarco hype train is dope, but you slap a soft tire on that thing and think, well, I'm just never going to let anyone pass me no matter what. I'm instantly going to pass them back. You don't have a plan to win the race. You're not going to win. Ever. It's just not going to happen.
It bit Zarco in the ass, right? Because he was the one that blocked Rossi.
Ever have a plan to win?
Right?
Yeah, he was the one that blocked Rossi and Maverick from actually battling with Marquez for the win. He made sure that Marquez was able to pull 2.5 seconds ahead. If we wanted to, we could make up a fucking conspiracy about how Zarco was helping Marquez win the goddamn title. And then Miller did exactly the same thing in the beginning of the race. Pulled a lot of time, lost the pace, and came back to everyone else. Whereas you see the real MotoGP race winners, what we would have previously called the aliens, they had that plan, they bided their time, and they just let those riders come back to them. They made sure that they were going to be there at the end of the race, whereas all the other guys, not so much.
Yeah, you have to have a plan.
It's not Moto 3. You can't just go out and just balls to the wall and hope for the best. Hope's not a good strategy.
Right, yeah, exactly. Hope is not a good strategy. That is a fucking, you can't just fucking hope that it's going to be all good. It's not. You have to have a plan start to finish. We've mentioned a million times, that's how Dovey is winning. Dovey has actually come out and said that he's mentally training more than he's physically training. He has a plan. He knew on the last lap at Motegi and the other ones, what Marquez, he had a plan. Zarco and Aleix and Jack Miller, these dudes don't have a plan, and you saw Zarco's lack of plan is what actually fucking killed my boner for the race. Not because I don't like Zarco, I do love that he sort of balls to the wall, gives no fucks, but he has no plan, and that lack of plan slowed everyone down because all he's doing is attacking, and then he's gone. I mean, you know, if the best way to win a fight is not be there when the guy throws a punch at you, like, that's what Marquez was doing. I'm not going to get involved in that. You know?
I got an analogy.
At least towards the very end of the race.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of see it, and especially after watching qualifying, right? I mean, he was just super dominant, and it's just like, all right, well, unless he bends it, it's his.
Right, but you see exactly what happened. The lack of plan. He rides like a crazy person, which is great. But he ends up holding up the factory Yamahas, and then what happens in the end? They still beat him to the line. So all that insanity, all that wild riding, and all that, and nothing. The dude's got one podium all year to show for it. It's not getting him the results that it needs to. You have to have some kind of plan to really pass, you know, to deal with the final, you know, 4 laps of the race.
Let's be real, man. When was the last time a Tech 3 did what he's doing, though? I mean, the reality is...
You mean when
that
Dovey got
Rossi
6 podiums in 1 year? What are you talking about?
And what that was their heyday back when everyone else sucked. Don't even give me that shit.
You mean when Satellite Racers won last year? Actually won races last year, and my bet of no Satellite winners is still going this year?
No bunk-ass flukes, man. Don't give me that bullshit.
That was they had a harder time. That was when Pedrosa was on form, Yamaha was fucking dope, Ben Spies.
Miller won in the rain at Assen. Cal fucking won 2 races, one in the rain, and then one where the tires were all fucked up.
You're talking about different years now. He's talking about Dovey.
You are literally trying to, like, fucking whitewash. Dovey took a Tech 3 bike against the likes of Casey Stoner and a perfect on-form Jorge Lorenzo and had way more He will end that season with more podiums than both vaunted Tech 3 riders combined right now. He had so many... If Dovey was... I think he was only outside the top 5 once that season on that bike, and he was significantly better. I mean, everyone wants to know when Zarco's going to get a factory ride. What? When he got 1 podium? Well, he has 1 podium.
It's more competitive now. That's what I'm telling you. There's a deeper roster. Bikes are more peak. I mean, the reality is he's got a harder
roster, but it's easier to be up front.
There's a lot more variability now.
I don't know.
We could go on and on about this.
But my point is, you know, I don't think maybe to your point, maybe it's not even my point. There weren't high expectations, and there he was. What I was going to add to it was, had Rossi and Maverick been where they were supposed to be, instead of letting a guy like Zarco get in front of them, it wouldn't have been an issue, because that's their bad. If they had the confidence right now, they would have gotten ahead of them.
Wait, are we going to start talking about peak frame?
Yeah, exactly. If they had the 2016 bike, it wouldn't even matter. Yeah, in the end, Zarco's got a better bike than they do.
I mean, I think it's hilarious that the weather conditions finally switched it up for Sunday, and it was borderline ideal conditions. Like, I can't remember another race at Phillip Island where because they race at 4 p.m. They race really late in the day to get the TV coverage right for Europe, or at least better. And normally we end up with a super cold race towards the end of the day. And this one, it was bright and sunny. And the Yamaha just somehow magically appears with this. Yeah, it was perfect. And the Yamaha to me, their attempts at peak frame for the new 2017/2018 chassis, they've made a bike that's exactly like fucking Jorge Lorenzo. It only works in perfect conditions. If it's too cold or it's raining, it doesn't work. If it's too hot, it doesn't work. But you finally give them good conditions on race day, and they do amazing things. They both get on the box.
Well, the inverse is that the Ducati didn't work in the ideal conditions. It only works in ultra hot conditions now. Go figure, or the rain. Take your pick. Makes you
Yeah, I
wonder.
mean, I think that actually, Everett, you had a good point. Is that without the hard braking zones, one of their strengths and their aero able to keep the front end down, that they were actually having problems with that front tire. Dovey didn't really look good all weekend. Now, when he in the race, he ran wide and he was way at the back, but he was running comparable lap times. But you got to try to qualify up front. I mean, qualifying 11th at a track like Phillip Island you're doomed because it bunches together and a lot of guys are up there. It's really hard to pass. And those guys that you're around, they're going for it. They're not giving any fucks. I mean, Pedrosa battled him for fucking 12th and 11th and 13th like he was battling for first. It was kind of crazy, you know what I mean? Like he handled most of the grid, then he gets to that back end of the top 10, and that was pretty much it.
It was kind of interesting, though, because the draft around Phillip Island does keep people closer, and other racers managed to, close gaps, right? Rins was not in that lead group right away. He had to pull through to it. He got pushed wide in turn 1 on lap 1, and yet somehow he still made it up to that lead group for more than 3/4 of the race. And yet Dovey is able to run those times eventually, but he still got stuck with Pedrosa. That mistake from Dovey really cost him quite a lot.
Probably cost him the title.
Big time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically.
God damn it.
Yeah, I mean, not to go full
even with the DNF.
Not to go full bummer style, but that was probably the mistake that ended it, And Dovey is definitely not the guy that makes mistakes for the most part, but that was, as crucial a mistake as you're going to make, in a title hunt.
That is his worst finish of the year by a long shot. His previous worst was 8th,
right,
as far as not crashing at in Germany. And a 13th now in Phillip Island.
Right, but I got to point something out because like you said, it was like ideal conditions, and that Yamaha is supposed to work in ideal conditions. Mav is sort of suddenly there, but then he gets pushed back. He's in 6th, he's in 7th, he claws his way back. But again, why is he battling with a satellite Yamaha? Why is he up front? We finally think we're going to see this vaunted showdown between the two, and he's not there. I'll tell you right now, it's because Mav, he lost his edge and turned in his wings. Cougar style. Okay? Y'all know what I'm talking about. And I'll explain to you how I know he lost his edge and turned his wings. Because Maverick Vinales and his new girlfriend have a dog, and that dog has an Instagram page that liked and congratulated Marc Marquez on winning the race. Could you imagine Kevin Schwantz and his girlfriend's dog congratulating Wayne Rainey on winning? Could you imagine LeBron James congratulating Steph Curry, his dog, on, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, Mike Tyson fucking bit Evander Holyfield's ear off. Him and his girlfriend's dog was not congratulating them. He was not having an Instagram page with his girlfriend and their dog. That is halfway to a shared Instagram account. That dude broke up with his world champion girlfriend, who was like a solid 7, but like a bring home to mom 7. Kind of like a, wow, this is my girlfriend, she's really... And he breaks up with Kiara, and he's instantly dating this like super hot umbrella girl, but he rebounds hard, dog. I mean, he is Charles Barkley rebounding right now. He has no edge, and that girl honeypotted him so hard. He was a multi-time race winner. He meets this chick. They get a little fucking chocolate lab puppy, and she's like, let's start him in Instagram. And he's like, no, I gotta study these track layouts. And then she's like, let's take pictures of the dog and have him like our most hated rivals photos. What the fuck is going on in 2017 in the world? Back in the day, Michael Jordan was so competitive that there's a story of him playing a round of golf with Tiger Woods where he's betting him 10 grand a hole, dog, because he is confident that he can beat Tiger Woods. Like, that's how competitive he is. This dude has a dog with his girlfriend who's rooting for his rival. If your dog turns his back on you, it's over. It's over.
Wait, so you're not just telling me that his girlfriend lost faith in him winning the title. It's his dog is now too.
His dog is Minnie Vinales. Not Minnie like Mini Me, but Minnie like Minnie Mouse. Right? Mini Vinales. I'm not shitting you guys. Go look it up. Mini Vinales is the dog owned by Maverick and his fucking umbrella girl girlfriend or whoever she is. And it likes Marc Marquez's photos.
I don't even know how you find this shit. How do you find this?
I have an army of people all over the world. And the fucking Tyler Durden style. We are building an army, dog. And they are finding this shit. That fucking
What's the
dog.
first rule of BrotoGP?
Exactly. Yeah, first rule of BrotoGP is you will boo Nick Harris. That's that man. Right.
For two more rounds.
Right. I'm gonna feel real bad if it turns out that he's like an early stage dementia. Like when he called it the French GP, I'm like, fuck. I think he thinks it's the French. Like, because what's the first sign? You can't remember what happened 5 minutes ago, but you can remember what happened earlier in the year, right? Like, your short-term memory goes. He thought it was the French GP. Like, this sucks. We need to get a GoFundMe for him. It's going to be a rough couple of years. I mean, fuck.
Wow. Come on, Deb. Bring us down a little bit further.
Let me bring it back to Maverick. Like, here's the problem. Y'all want to talk constant shit about me and how I'm like, hey, Maverick's going to win 9 races. And what was one of the key points that I said he was he was a goddamn assassin, right? He was stone cold. He gave no fucks. And he had a world champion girlfriend. That is a hell of a backbone to bounce ideas off, to keep your head in the game, to not keep you distracted, because that girl knows exactly what it takes to win a world champion. She ain't distracting him with shit. She's keeping him focused. She's keeping his eyes on the prize, and if he wavers even a little bit, she was there to keep him good to go. And he wins 3 of the first 4 races. They're donezo. He picks up the hot, skinny blonde. There's solid 9.5. They get a fluffy-ass dog, and it's done. He is 2 steps away from Scott fucking Redding. He is nearly monkey fresh. He's puppy fresh.
Yeah, but you know what? And well, maybe it's to your point yet again. I'm giving you a lot of kudos tonight. He was training and fucking in a much different way than Andre Iannone.
Training fucking? I mean, yes.
Before when he had a world champion girlfriend, he was training with her and fucking her.
Right.
Well, and we just found out that he's training with Jack Miller now, because apparently Maverick was there when Miller broke his leg. Yeah, Maverick was there when Miller broke his leg, and they had some gag order where fucking Vinales couldn't say a thing about him breaking it.
Okay,
like they were together when that happened. That's who he trains with now. He trains with the guy that leads the race and then falls back and finishes way back.
And there's another thing that's a horrible decision, because here's why. If there's one thing I've learned training jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and I've gotten pretty decent, I've got some pretty solid titles, not to humble brag, but I'm humble bragging. Hashtag humble brag.
Humble brag.
But never
Kev will fuck you up. Okay,
right.
That's the humble brag.
Never be the best guy in the room. You can never be the best guy in the room. No. You can never be the carrot that the hungry dudes are chasing. And if
how do you stay ahead then?
How do you stay ahead then?
Who's Marc Marquez trained with? Who's Marc Marquez trained with then? His brother?
Yeah. Again, yes, I suppose, but Marc Marquez has reached the peak and he knows what to do. Maverick hasn't reached that peak. At some point, you become there's got to be a top dog. But if you're chasing that top dog,
I figured it out. He does like in Mario Kart where you can like turn on ghost mode, and Marc Marquez just like he does laps and he like does time trials against himself or something.
Well, he does what you do. He fucking Marc Marquez. I mean, we said this the last episode. He literally crashes on purpose to find the limit because there are no riders he can get a toe off of. Because he's faster than them, and there are no people whose data he can study because he's way fucking faster than them. At some point, he just makes up his own rules. Like the same thing in jiu-jitsu. Like, if you have no good guys to be around, you grab the shitty new guys and just try weird shit on them and just swag on them to put yourself in shitty positions. And that's exactly, like, if you need to know how to escape, but no one is good enough to, like, get your back or get you in a bad position, you have to force yourself in a bad position to get out. And that's what Marc Marquez does. He forces himself to nearly crash so he can figure out how not to crash in the race. I fucking hate it, and I hate him, and I hate all his goddamn fans, but you gotta respect it. It's like the end of Anchorman when he says, like, I hate you, but goddamn do I respect you. I mean, basically, Marc Marquez is Wes Mantooth, and I hate him, but goddamn do I respect him.
I like him.
Oh, man. That's perfect, Kev. I mean, I totally agree with you. Mav has screwed up the training consistently this season. It's not working out for him. He's lost a lot of stuff between the head, too, because it really seems like he had a handle on all this really early on the year, and then we see these silly mistakes from him. We see these bad performances. Maybe the Yamaha isn't getting the development that they need to because Bassem's peak frame hasn't come through. They're searching around. They're not able to find it. But at the same time, it's just, this is not what we would expect from a world championship contender.
Right. Speaking of Bassem, he wants you to eat some crow on that trellis frame KTM in Moto 2. We'll talk about that on an upcoming episode. But I'm finding ways to mention Bassem so that we can go our streak of Bassem references in the episode going. He pointed out that it's like 4 or 5 now, so we're just going to keep the train alive and keep going with it.
Crow sandwich.
Great, keeping the train alive.
Too.
Yeah.
Keeping the train
Rob
alive with
Sextape.
Bassem.
Yeah.
God damn it.
With
God
Bassem. Yeah.
He's a big dude.
Yes.
Oh man. All right, we gotta transition off of Yamaha and Maverick a little bit here. So we kind of already touched on it.
All I'm saying about Maverick, guys, if y'all play sports and you want to be good, like, you can't be, like, I mean, some shit's got to be sacrificed, and the surest way to not be dope anymore is to have a shared Instagram account with your girlfriend. That ain't ballin'. Like, okay, at first I thought Maverick dumped Kiara because he was gonna go fucking Yannone style and just slay some Vaj. Or Yannone style and fucking slay some dick too. I mean, that's fine. It's 2017. Slay both simultaneously for all I care, and everything in between. But instead, he instantly rebounds, and the dog, and the Instagram. What the fuck? And the porn stash. Like, Jesus, fuck already.
He does look pretty ridiculous.
It's a good look. It's a good look for him. I don't know what you're talking about.
No,
yes.
No, it's not.
Yeah. Rob's like, I have the same look.
Yeah.
No, I can't even grow it that thick. I can't do it.
Yeah, exactly. I can't grow it that thick. Like, title of Rob Sextape.
Oh, shit. Someone segue for me, please do it.
Exactly.
I want to see him go do like some kind of Keanu Reeves Matrix shit, like a rebirth. Go shave your head, fucking do what you got to do, get a tattoo or something on your face, and like dunk your girlfriend.
Whoa, get a tattoo on your face? Fuck.
Oh yeah.
No, now he's just he'll do that if he hangs out with Scott Redding too much. God damn it, we can't go that far.
Oh, those two are gonna be, as soon as Scott Redding breaks up with her, those two are gonna be best friends. You watch.
Because they're gonna fucking swap stories. I mean, Jesus.
They're gonna be Eskimo brothers.
Oh no.
Oh man. All right, hard segue here to Dovizioso. Let's talk about his mistakes a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, at first on the grid, he fucking straight tricked Dylan Gray, and they're like, he's switching to the soft, oh my god! And it turns out he didn't. He tried to pull a Marc Marquez style, like, mind game, and they announced they switched it to the soft tire, but never did. And I'm like, oh shit, he's just unsettling people. That's awesome. But he fucking blew that turn. Like, if there's one thing when you start, 11th, you gotta get up front, but you can't take too many chances doing it. You've got to methodically do it. And at some point, I'm getting really distracted by Everett's fucking muffling right now. But, distracted by Everett's muff, title Rob Sextape. But, but,
God damn it.
It was just a he blew the turn, he ran wide, and he put himself behind people that he never should have been behind, and it was basically over. I mean, Dovi's not necessarily known as the greatest fighter of all time. In fact, before this race, that was kind of his, the knock on him. And then it was like, well, he can't crash, but he has to pass a lot of guys quickly. That's a bad, it's a fucking
in MotoGP,
conundrum.
that's a really bad recipe for winning championships.
Correct.
Having to pass 12 guys. And then 20 guys.
It was more than 12. It was 20 guys. He ended up in dead last or
dead last.
Second to dead last. It was a terrible position for him to be in. I mean, I think that the tire move, like the fiasco on the grid, was a mistake. That is not what Ducati does. At least that's not what Ducati with Dovizioso does. They don't try and trick people. They're the ones that make the decision. They stick with it. In looking back, they should have went with the softer tire.
Correct.
Right, the only person that did solid with the medium was Rossi. Everyone else was on the softer. It worked out great for them. There wasn't too many rear tire problems. And Dovizioso, once again, he pretty much said he was having rear grip problems. Rear grip problems. They should have went with the soft.
Look,
it probably would have produced a much better race for him.
Look, it didn't matter. I mean, give me another Ducati who did use the soft. It didn't fucking matter. They did shitty overall.
Yeah, they did do shitty overall. Did terrible.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
The only time they needed to make sure they didn't do shitty, you know what I'm saying? Like, literally just stole a victory at Honda's home track, and it's just like I even said, he doesn't have to win. He just got to be top 4 to keep it alive.
Which
you know
is
what I mean?
Crazy. It's crazy. I mean, he really hasn't DNF'd, but you factor that as a DNF, and it's like, how many has Mark given away? And Ducati can't even afford to give one away, and that pretty much ruined it for them.
Yeah, that's the difference between Dovi's bad results being 6th and 8th and 7th, and Marquez just crashing a few times, but generally podiuming them.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's crazy, right? It's like Mark's 2 or 3 DNFs from crashing, okay, or a few 6 or 7s. 3. Fuck.
But that's how this point system works. I mean, he's 1 win ahead at this point, and with his 3 DNFs, and he's pulling away in the title.
Yeah, I mean, but it could, and let's not get ahead of ourselves. It's one race to that point. Something could happen to Mark. He could get bumped off and be 20th, and basically get 0 points or crash again, which he does all the time. And so it's not over.
Yeah, and it's got to happen next round, and then we're going to fucking Valencia.
Right, he's got one hand and 4 fingers on the trophy. You know how I know that? Because they said that shit on the feed like fucking 93 times.
What do you mean? Who do you mean by they?
I mean,
who do you mean by they?
Yeah, Nick Harris. And the worst part is, if you start watching the other ones, they were adding master stroke in a lot. It's like they said, you got to start priming the pump. Fuck, I like Matt Burt and all those. I like those guys, but they start it's like they told them, hey, you guys can't just be really off the cuff eloquent. You got to quote it, and you got to have catchphrases. This isn't like 1960s television where every fucking advertisement has a jingle and a catchphrase. Just let the guys talk.
What though? Master Stroke, I want to go trademark that and make a new condom brand, because Master Stroke would be an amazing condom brand.
Condoms are for sailors, baby.
Those fucking dirty fucks.
Please someone say not in the 90s, Austin, so I could say with a witty smile, well, they should, those filthy beggars. They go from port to port. Yeah, Austin. That's a second Austin Powers reference, because that umbrella chick was a man, baby.
That wasn't man.
Oh man, Kevin's still going there. Hey Kev, I hear you got a listener question about Dovizioso that you want to really get out of here.
This fucking guy blew I blew all y'all's minds talking about Top Gun and how Maverick was actually the villain of that movie, and I also blew some of y'all's minds, and some of y'all didn't get it when I said that Dani Pedrosa was as irrelevant as Indiana Jones is to the plot of his movies. I'll go there.
We'll get there.
But my man Drop It Switch mentioned that Willy Wonka built his candy empire on challenging the status quo, and then turned it over the only kid who followed all the rules exactly. Which is fucked up when you think about it, right? All those kids, he did all these crazy things and new experiments and tried all this stuff and the chocolate river, and he's constantly experimenting, and he invites all these little kids into the fucking greatest wonderland in the world, and he gives the fucking keys to the city to the square who bought his grandpa to that fucking, you know what I mean? Anyways, he said his Dovi's plan just to follow the rules until the Candyman picks him to win the championship. That's a good point.
It'll work out.
It's going to work. Just follow the fucking rules. You know what you should do, Dovi? At some point, Pay off someone to just blast Marquez straight at the exhaust pipe and knock him out. Fucking, if you're not cheating, you're not trying, and you got to start breaking some rules. You got to start eating some blueberry candies and blowing up bigly, because you got to do something. If you need an army of orange midgets to take him out, that's what you got to do. I mean,
No,
Dani
Pedrosa, Marquez already has that army of orange midgets.
Right, but I mean, Dani Pedrosa was Dovi's fucking partner at one point, and he's an orange midget. Get him in line.
Who's Willy Wonka then?
Damn.
I mean, but that's the Dovi that we saw last round, or that's the Dovi that we saw at Motegi. Was not the calculating Dovi. It's the Dovi that said he was going to take more risks and would actually go a little red mist, charge into Marquez, and battle for it.
The Dovi of Motegi was the Dovi that would steal the soda, drink it all, and then as soon as he became lighter than air and was flying towards the giant fucking spinning fan of death, was also smart enough to figure out on the fly quickly within one lap, if you burp it out, you'll drop down. How could anyone figure... The Dovi is basically that kid in Willy Wonka. He's willing to take risks, but he's smart enough to fucking negate the risk if it became too crazy. But then in this one, he was the one who got in the glass elevator and just said, well, let's see what happens.
Let's see where we go.
Let's see what happens.
Where's this thing go?
I love.
What happens when you push this button?
We're just ruining all of my childhood movie references. God,
Right, that entire movie was actually subliminally telling you, don't think on your own, don't take risks, don't try new stuff, do exactly what the guy in charge tells you, and maybe you'll be rich too. Be a drone, go to school, do exactly what they tell you, start to finish, never question authority, never and run from anyone who does, and maybe they'll give it to you. You'll get the golden ticket too. And how come that grandpa couldn't walk until they got a golden ticket and suddenly he could jump up and dance?
Dude, he was dancing and shit, yeah.
He was honeypotting the fuck out of them.
Honey dick.
Did HRC write that book?
Yeah, exactly. Fucking
Clearly
HRC.
went back in time with their fucking time machine and fucking did shit.
Right.
God
Correct.
damn it.
I mean,
All right, we've already brought up Ducati, so let's talk about team orders a little bit here, because we heard a lot about that all weekend long. And
what fucking difference does it make if there's team orders when you're fucking 12th?
Right.
Hey, that could have been 2 more points if Scott Redding would have blocked Dani Pedrosa.
Watch, it will be the prophecy of the team orders. It'll be so great if it gets to Valencia and he loses by 2 points.
There were a lot of opportunities for the team orders to matter, like even Petrucci at in the rain. Right? That could have been 4 points that he could have given back to Dovizioso if he let him through.
Yeah, or they could have just done what they did in 2007 with Tony, or 2008 with Tony Elias on the Pramac, and when he was beating Casey Stoner, just fucking cut the power to his bike on the fly via Wi-Fi and let Stoner pass him. That fucking happened. Y'all don't think conspiracies? You think that shit is only HRC? They could have pulled that shit. Spec, I mean, we have a BrotoGP news breaking thing. Spec ECU is smarter than it lets on. We've been making that one too, but I mean, they definitely could have done that. You know, I mean, at some point, I don't give a fuck. Cut it, like, you know. Let him buy. I mean, Scott Redding gave no fucks because they booted him and he's going to Aprilia. But motherfucker, man, let the dude go by. You know, I don't fucking know.
Like Kenny Roberts Jr. Thinking he finished the race with 1 more lap to go.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm good. I'm done.
That was
you guys go ahead.
Mugello 2006. Right.
I love how this is the first race that Scott Redding has been the first Ducati to cross the line. Right. Like in his entire Ducati career here.
I'm not actually saying he should have I'm not actually saying he should have let. Obviously, you should race and you should let the guys go by. But I mean, you should race them and not let them go by. You're there to do as good as you can. Yeah, I slipped. You're there to do as good as you can and to ride hard. But I mean, what the fuck? Dovi is in the title hunt. He's the people's champ. And he's battling with 2 of the most irrelevant dudes on the fucking paddock. And it's just like, oh, God. That's why, like...
Yeah, it just goes to show how lacking in confidence he was. Because he was not willing to crash. He was willing to sacrifice and get whatever it was, 1 or 2 points versus a DNF still. And it's like, really, dude? You're willing to take a DNF? I'd rather beat those 2 guys at least. And at least, fuck it. At least I crashed.
Right.
Hey,
Yeah,
that's not how you win titles, especially for Dovi, though. You got to finish these races. It's just, quite unfortunate that he was fighting that far back.
Yeah, we'll say that if he wins
Kev,
the championship by 1 point.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, but who was
Kev,
he fucking?
Kev,
he was all the way back fighting with Dani fucking Pedrosa. Like, look, I like Dani. I've always liked him. I've been a fan of him, especially over the years as he opened up and kind of got rid of the Danny Bob. But that is the most irrelevant dude on the grid. Like, he literally has no bearing whatsoever on the plot of MotoGP. Now, I made a joke that he was as irrelevant as Indiana Jones is to the plot of the movie, and I got, like, messages that were saying, like, that joke didn't hit, or what are you talking about? I'll tell you what.
Let Kev break it down for you.
Let me break it down for you. Because Dani Pedrosa is so irrelevant to this fucking series that basically the only time he won a race was he beat Marc Marquez for the win. So if he wasn't in the series, it would actually have been easier for his teammate to win the title. The teammate would be up, more points, and back to Rob's point, if that's how the points go, Marc Marquez would have more points now, despite the fact that if Dani wasn't there, Dovi would have been up one place too, because Dovi did shitty that round and got like 7th. So the only fucking time Dani did anything of consequence, it still didn't matter. Not unlike Indiana Jones in fucking Raiders of the Lost Ark, where if he wasn't in the movie, the Nazis still would have found the Ark, still would have opened it on the island, and they all would have died. Just like what actually happened in the movie. And if you don't fucking think so, the only thing Indiana Jones did was slow them down a little bit with that medallion, but all that would have happened if there was no Indiana Jones is they would have found the medallion earlier, they would have figured out that you raised the staff up, they would have got to the island sooner, and then they would have opened the Ark and all died. The exact same thing would have happened. You want to talk about fucking Last Crusade? What happened at the end of the Last Crusade? The Nazis found the cup, they go to get it, a couple of them drink from the wrong cup, and then they fucking girl steals the right cup, takes it out, and the whole thing goes, and the Nazis don't have the cup. Like exactly what happened whether Indiana Jones was in the movie or not. He is fully irrelevant to the plot of his movies. He is just there as an observer for everyone to see what would have happened, whether he's there or not, which is exactly what Dani Pedrosa has been his whole fucking career at MotoGP, but especially this career. He's never anywhere of consequence. He's just viewing the race, viewing the fucking series, and if you like him, he's just the lens from which you view how he's totally irrelevant.
Dude.
I mean, we could bring up 2006 even, right? He took out Nicky Hayden. Nicky Hayden still won the title. It would have been just quite a bit easier for Nicky Hayden to win the title in 2006 without Dani Pedrosa there.
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
maybe
we should
stir
go
the
back
plot
and do
a little bit.
An in-depth analysis of every season had you taken him out of the results.
And it would be exactly the same. It would be exactly the same. Even in Raiders of the Lost Ark, the number one thing Indiana Jones wanted to do was get that Ark to a museum so they could study it. But what happened? It got into a fucking a warehouse and cataloged and put away forever, which is exactly where it was before. If Indiana Jones never existed, the Ark would have killed some Nazis and no one would have known where it was, which is exactly what happened in the movie. He couldn't even do his basic fucking rule, which is help his teammate, because the only time he ever won a race, he fucking took those 5 points from his teammate.
You know what I'm really realizing now, Kev?
What?
You're making me feel like a real dumbass, because I predicted that he could be a real dark horse this year, and he's really just turning into a real jackass who's fucking it all up.
Right, he won as many races this year as Jackass did last year.
That ass.
Ooh.
That's what I'm saying, though. I feel like an idiot now. That's not cool.
Right, yeah, I mean,
it's just we never really see any drama out of him this season. He's got quite a few podiums. He's got that one win, but it's what we expect from Dani Pedrosa. He makes himself completely irrelevant in other races, especially if it's cold or wet and he can't get the Michelin tires up to temperature. He's not going to fight for the title on these tires. It's just not going to happen.
Right, and if there's anything that you saw in Indiana Jones is that you could only choose, you have to choose wisely. And they choose, and basically God chooses who could do it. The fucking how did Indiana Jones know to close your eyes and not look? That wasn't anywhere. That was completely out of nowhere. It's not mentioned. It's because
he reads the history books, bro.
No,
He knows
hold on,
the lore.
because God doesn't choose the bad guys. So what happens? Even if the Nazis got the Ark and took it to a battlefield and opened it up, it's just going to kill all the Nazis. In fact, Indiana Jones delayed the end of World War fucking II, and in fact, Indiana Jones is personally responsible for the deaths of hundreds of thousands of Allied troops. Fuck Indiana Jones for what he did to fucking all those lives cut short. All those lives cut short.
Dude, that is a twist. I never thought about that one right there.
How many fucking movies?
No,
how many fucking movies can we ruin in this episode?
Well, fuck,
This is absurd. I feel like I gotta change the subject because we've now ruined Indiana Jones, Willy Wonka. What did we get in the beginning?
Made me feel stupid.
You brought up the Matrix and how this was Matrix style, where you were actually tricking me by fake posting that this was the greatest race ever just to rile me up. And I'll tell you, the Matrix, the real world in the Matrix was just another Matrix. How do you know? Think about it. It wasn't the whole world. It was just one city. Think about in the second Matrix when they're like, where are they? And he just said, on the freeway. What do you refer to something as when you live in an area your whole life? It's just the 101 or just the freeway. The Matrix was only one tiny little like city and outer lying areas. It wasn't the whole world. There's never a reference to other cities, other countries, other places. The Matrix is only for a small amount of people, and the real world is just a bigger portion of the Matrix to trick you into having a purpose, because they already pointed out that having a perfect city was a problem. So the Matrix and Zion is just another level of the Matrix to give the humans who got out of the first Matrix a secondary purpose to keep them satiated.
See, I already knew that one, though, because anybody smart enough to watch The Matrix knows that there's a double Matrix.
But did you know that Agent Smith is actually the one? It wasn't Keanu, it was Agent Smith the whole time.
Yes.
Yeah, it was Agent Smith the whole time. But no, I'm getting us off movies. Let's go back to motorcycle racing here before you ruin a fucking another one.
There's a Ducati in that motherfucking movie, all right?
You want to know something dope? All of you who want to hear my riding stories, the Ducati that's in that movie, Matrix Reloaded, I have ridden. Not the copy, not not the knockoff 999 or 998 that was green. The actual one filmed in the movie. I rode up and down Santa Rosa Avenue in Santa Rosa, California, not far from where they actually filmed the movie, because that bike had some problems with the clutch. They brought it to the local dealer that I was at, because that dealer worked for a race team, and he fixed the clutch for the movie because they were burning it up. And to test ride that, I rode that thing up and down Santa Rosa Avenue in the 101, the actual bike from the movie. Fuck y'all, dual wielding middle fingers to all y'all.
Kev will sign your Ducati for $10,000.
I will sign your Ducati for $8 and a soda.
Kev, I love how you go from the guy that... I love how you go in 3 episodes from the guy that doesn't own a motorcycle and everyone is like, what the fuck, to the guy that has like parents that have been in motorcycles too, and the Matrix Ducati rider. Where the fuck did they... Why didn't you tell us this before?
One guy on bar actually put 2 and 2 together when I was on the Misfits. You know, again, my crew, Nax, my man, he filled in for Ev when Ev couldn't be on the show, and the Misfits asked me, when was the last time I rode? I'm like, well, it's been a little bit, and they gave me a bunch of shit, and then the other guy's like, wait, that episode was like 6 months before he fucking broke his dick, and he didn't, you know what I mean? He was like giving them shit, like, I didn't ride for a while because I tore my urethra. If you want to know what it was like, take a thermometer, jam it straight up your urethra, wait till it gets to 98.6 degrees, and then violently rip it out, and then ask me if you'll hang out with thermometers for a while.
Everyone, do not do that. Do not do that. He did not enjoy it. Please do not do that.
All do that.
No, we're
legally, we are advising you officially to jam thermometers up your urethra. Whether you're a male or a female, because we are gender neutral on this.
Gender neutral, yep.
I'm officially saying it will make you healthier, and I have writerslaw.com to back me up should any of you bring a lawsuit.
Do not drag Writer's Law into this one. I would like a motorcycle sponsor next year.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Kev, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that me and the majority of listeners are going to just trust you on that one.
Right.
We're good.
All right. Speaking of a whole bunch of dick, let's talk about Andre Iannone.
Gangbang.
This is the resurgence.
That was
a
very easy segue.
Speaking of a whole bunch of dick, title of Rob's sex tape.
God damn it. Oh man. Yeah, so Iannone wasn't that. He made some good comments on his Instagram this weekend.
Do they test for cocaine in MotoGP?
I hope not.
I'm pretty sure they do.
There was something going on there, but who knows? Maybe it was something. Maybe it was ecstasy.
Dude, he's high on life.
No, we already figured this out. What are you talking about, Ev? My man, think back to last episode. Think to the AI-29 garage with the garage down and the circle illuminated by selfie phones. Mustache ride. Mustache ride. He got those mustache wings. He can mustache ride.
Dude, yeah. He got pretty pumped up, bro.
He got pumped.
He threw it down.
Yes. No, he got fourth in qualifying. He looked a hell of a lot happier on that bike. He's finally turning around. He looked the best since he looked at Qatar, and where he looked pretty darn good, and he battled in true maniac fashion.
I know, I missed it. I'm glad to see it back. I was always a big fan until pretty much this year I got kind of bummed out and was like losing interest in being a fan.
And being a fan of Suzuki and Iannone?
I was very, very hopeful for this year after watching Rins. I mean, but...
Wait, what part of Rins' season were you hopeful on? When he broke his wrist and missed like 3 rounds?
No, I mean, just seeing Vinales, a semi-unproven talent, go on the Suzuki and do decent, and then when Iannone got signed, I thought, oh, fuck, he's going to get off the Ducati, get on a bike that's going to lend itself better to his style.
Right, I said the same thing.
Here we go, this is going to be great. And then he fucking tanked, and then he got hurt. You know, it's funny, though, I was reading something, or maybe I saw something, his back injury really, I think really messed with him in his head. I think that really was a wake-up call.
Which that'll do. I mean, that you crack a vertebrae and you're thinking twice about stuff.
That's what I mean. Yeah. So something clicked again where he's feeling good and he's feeling no fear, and it was pretty evident. He was doing some real fucking bonsai moves though. But hey,
I mean, what really happened is Iannone got chlamydia, and he couldn't fuck for a couple of weeks while he had that thing going. And they started training a little bit, and he's like, "Fuck, I love riding that bike." Yeah, I mean, he got chlamydia, and he was like, "Well, there's no discharge, I could still fuck." But what, you guys aren't laughing at that? No one laughs at that?
No.
Fuck you.
No.
TMI, bro. TMI, bro.
Yeah, exactly. But he turns it around. I mean, look at his stories. Look at his page. Well, I feel like his page is a window to his soul. When he's posting like sweaty gangbang photos, he doesn't do too well. When he's just posting pictures of getting ready to train and working and stuff, then he's doing pretty decent. And I'm a huge Maniac fan, and like Everett said, when he signed to Suzuki, I was like, man, this might be a silver lining, because here's a bike that supposedly really handles well. But I guess their electronics just aren't lending themselves to it. Maybe he cut his teeth riding a bike with winglets from the get-go, and he needs a fucking massive downforce to have the front style feel that he's used to. Look what happened. They got those winglets, that mustache, wings, and suddenly he's legit again.
Nah, I think it just has to do with like time on the bike. Someone else was going a different direction. Maybe Vinales has a different style. He finally got it dialed in for his style. They didn't have enough setup data. They got to it. He was a little mindfuck coming off the Ducati, completely different style. Had to revert back to his other style. I don't know. I just think that's all kind of the culmination. Give him a couple years.
You totally just agreed with everything that Kevin said.
Yes,
I know.
I tricked you.
Kind of, but I mean,
tricked you.
I don't know. I don't think it was the wingless. Is my point. I don't think it was solely the wingless.
No, but The major problem that Suzuki had early in the season was front end chatter. Like Yonone complained about that every single round. It seemed like he couldn't push into the corners because the front would chatter and he would either crash or he would crash. That's pretty much just what happened. Then they magically get these winglets, and I can't say that they've solved that problem yet because Phillip Island is somewhat of an outlier track. It doesn't have any really hard braking zones. They put the winglets on at Motegi. They worked there. They put the winglets on here. They still worked. Who knows if they're going to work at the next two tracks? We have no idea. But for them to finish, for Yonone to finish less than 4 seconds off the lead at Phillip Island, that's a really, really solid result considering how far back they were early on in the season. Like, those winglets improved something, especially since the improvement was so drastic right away. Like, to Kev's point, they're already lacking in the electronic, or they're still lacking in the electronics, and they don't have any drive grip out of them. But neither does Yamaha, and they were on the podium.
Correct.
Yeah,
correct.
That's all I get out of you, too.
And slash thread moving right the fuck on.
I concur. Everett and I both concur. I mean,
I just...
It was good to see him doing it, but he was
if they
going a little
continue
too
to
balls the wall.
improve... Yeah, if they continue to improve the next round, then we can say that Suzuki finally actually found something. I'm not that hopeful, or like, I don't really expect them to be fighting for the top 5 at both the Sepang and Valencia. Something is going to go on for them. They'll revert back to their old setup issues, because that's what we see out of like the second tier factories, right? They're super up and down. I mean,
what
even
if I have another conspiracy for you?
Do it right now.
Okay, so the other conspiracy is that Rins was effectively gone all year. So Iannone had no teammate to have to compete with. Then Rins comes back, and then Rins did okay, and then did okay. And then this race, Rins was also really good. And he basically was like, fuck, I need to start beating my teammate, like, legit. And so then...
You gotta have someone to push you. I don't think it's a conspiracy. That's a good point. That if you have, if there's no one forcing you to do well,
I'm not crazy.
Okay, I mean, if you're grading on a curve and everyone else, and there's no one else to grade against, you have an A automatically. You know what I mean?
I'm ahead of the points because
much.
he wasn't here. He's catching up. I better. Shit, I got to beat him a little bit. Okay, here we go.
No, I think that happened. Like, especially at Motegi. I mean, I'm pretty sure Rins was ahead of Yonone in both this last race and this one at some point. Yonone goes fucking red mist and makes sure to beat him. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He's really shown up ever since Rins showed up, and it's kind of like, that's a little weird.
Yeah, he's also letting him. Those crashes have let him catch up in the championship quite a bit. There's only 14 points between them, and there is still a chance that Rins will beat Yonone in the championship.
Right, which is not a good look.
No, not a good look for mustache rides. Terrible.
No. Which is weird, because mustache rides are normally a dope look.
I concur.
I've never looked up for a mustache ride and disliked the view.
Yeah.
Hashtag Rob Sextape. But I have a... Speaking of actual conspiracies, Ev, I got one for you because... You know, I watched the feed, Marquez wins, they go to the podium, and Nick Harris sort of is like, well, let's hope everyone acts, respectful. And then when he gets on the podium and they've announced Marquez, you hear a sea of boos. Boo! Everyone's booing. And this is going to go back to Rob's comment about riling people up. You hear a sea of boos, you hear a sea, chanting boos, all the fans are chanting Rossi instead of Marquez, and they're booing him, and Twitter explodes. All the Marquez fans explode, all the journalists explode, everyone's complaining about the boos. I'm not going to go over why you shouldn't complain about boos, because we've covered that ad nauseum, but if you think boos are dumb, you're the only sport in the world who thinks that, because literally every other sport boos people like crazy. Every single one except for like tennis, and and we can talk about girls tennis if you'd like, but yeah, exactly.
No, girls tennis. You said women's tennis.
Dang, girls tennis. What? Yeah, what? But Okay, so all the boos happen, and I make posts. I'm talking on Twitter. I'm arguing with like Simon Patterson about boos. I'm like, wow, you guys have no idea about how you sell a sport. And then you realize later that he actually posted he doesn't want the sport to get bigger. He likes it as a little niche sport, which is super dope for a guy whose job is to cover the sport. But, you know, then I get messages from, like, we have a lot of fans in Australia. A lot of them were there. I know because they sent pictures. There's pictures of our fans on the podium wearing the shirt and all this. And I'm like, what was up with the boos? And they said they didn't hear any. Right? They were at the podium and they're like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, they're like, no, we barely heard any. And I'm like, dude, it was like Titanic on the feed. All you heard was boos. And they're like, maybe a couple of guys, but not really. Everyone was pretty stoked. I mean, yeah, lots of cheers for Valentino, but like, you know, he said maybe a couple disgruntled Dovizioso fans, but they were all like, nah, there wasn't really any boos. People were stoked
really
at how dope it was.
about Marc Marquez. Yeah.
And then what I realized is fucking Dorna is piping in those boos on the feed to rile you up, to rile up discussion, to rile up coverage on fucking Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, because who is going to talk the most? Marc Marquez and his teenage girl fans who are so obsessed with him and think that they know him and they're like a part of his family and you better not disrespect him. And suddenly you hear constant hashtag Marc Marquez. It's all over. So just like fucking, it's the same exact thing that Rob just said about getting me riled up. It's like, look, I don't want to talk politics again, but what does Trump do when everything's bad? He gets his own base angry. He talks about the NFL kneeling when it wasn't really a story. He riles up his base and gets them angry. I'm not talking about whether you agree with his policies or not. I'm just saying his tactics to keep himself on the news. He gets his own base pissed, and it works. The dude was elected, right? I mean, you get your own base mad.
Whoa.
Hold on. And getting your own base mad actually helps sell your product because it puts it on the forefront. Because when people are happy, they post a couple things. But when people are fucking pissed, they post a shitload of diatribes. You know how I know? We get more listens when I'm pissed about something than when Rob is happy about something. And we get more listens than when I'm yelling than when Everett is super psyched on something. It's the same effect. Dorna is deliberately fucking with their own fans. They're getting them mad and playing psychological warfare so that you go on on social media, get angry, post about it, and sell their product, because controversy equals listens, controversy equals watches and downloads and all that stuff.
Kev, I'm not really cool with you telling everyone that we're being manipulated.
What?
I'm not cool with that.
I'm not. You think I'm cool with the fucking heroin slanging lizard people from the flat Earth trying to manipulate our feelings? I'm not cool with it either, dog. I'm fucking pissed. I'm about to blow the roof off of this story.
If there's truth to that, that's a big fucking problem, man.
What do you mean if? We have confirmed
stuff?
evidence. We have
to your point, maybe they put the mic next to the right guy, and I'm just saying, like, if they truly dubbed it over,
all 37 mics that are hanging out there.
Look, this isn't like on WWE. If y'all watch wrestling, it's stupid, but it can be funny. They actually are known and covered. They pipe in cheers and boos to get the crowd to react. Right? And they do the same thing on the television feed because it's sort of, it's all scripted, so they want you to root for the guy they want to be number one. That's how it works. That's why if you go to a wrestling fucking event, everyone boos John Cena, but if you watch it on TV, everyone fucking cheers him. It's the same thing, except in reverse. Everyone respects Marc Marquez. He's amazing. He's good. They might not root for him, but they don't outright hate him. They're just root for other guys. You might see some boos and some discontent, but you don't hear the sea of boos that you do, except for when they fake all these boos. Goddamn Carmelo and his boo creating machine.
Hey, man, I think it's
God. We play into it so much too. So sleazy.
I'm gonna keep playing into it too.
My mind is blown, Kev. Oh yeah, I don't know what I'm probably just gonna forget that you ever told me and just keep playing into it.
Right.
Well, I mean, Kevin,
I think it'll work better for everyone.
Some of your oldest concepts that you know what they got to have a villain, and currently they ain't got one. And Dovey ain't playing that role; he's playing the hero also. So they're like, "Fuck it, Mark Rossi."
Wait,
like,
so you're saying 2 years ago, 2015, when they booed like crazy and we went on those rants about it, that Dorna listened to me and they realized Jorge's not going to be the villain. We need to manufacture a villain because no one's going to dislike Valentin until he's gone. So Dorna is actually listening to me. They're in the podcast right now, tapping our phones and stealing our ideas. Fuck you, Carmelo.
Dude, absolutely. They implanted you in your sleep. You don't even know it.
Fuck, they abducted me? Oh, god damn it.
Yeah.
I knew those dreams I had when I was
in the Dorna Matrix.
It wouldn't be the first time.
The Dorna Matrix sounds like Dominatrix. The Dorna Matrix.
We need a fucking chop on that one.
Fuck.
Carmelo
I'm
needs
saying,
to get into some fucking leather, some bondage leathers, like...
You're right.
That's
they
hilarious.
want, they're desperate to, Dorna's desperate to create their stories, and maybe they're actually taking a page from what we said and starting to manufacture their own controversy. I think
They
it's
need to
true.
manufacture something, because those fucking commentators they've got on the pre-show thing for the pre-interview, oh my god, those
Hold
people are
on.
so terrible.
Literally 13 minutes ago, Jave Values Smarter posted that Ann Rod is almost like Android, which is Dorna spelled backwards, clearly in the Rothschild Leopard Repsol family, and Nick Harris have in common. They have Android bots piping in booze, posting on Instagram, riling you up to cause controversy where there is none, because controversy sells. They're fucking with all of our emotions, and they're using it to keep us distracted from the fact that they're slanging heroin out of the back of the Avintia truck, because why else would a shitty-ass team with shitty-ass riders like Avintia be on the grid? Because look, KTM wants to run...
They get riders to pay for money.
KTM wants to run more bikes next year, but no, because it's a full grid. You can't just boot Avintia. Why is Avintia there? Avintia is there to be the mule. Fucking Loris Baz has 3 balloons of heroin jammed up his asshole right now, and Yannone needs to get on the case, because if there's one guy on the paddock who knows about getting up assholes, it's Andre Yannone. Listener questions, Rob?
Gav, you're ridiculous.
Listener questions?
Yeah, let's roll over to listener questions before we close this one out.
Everett, I got a question for you.
What do you got for us?
I got a question for Everett.
God.
This is a trick question, Everett. This is a trick question. Of any rider on the grid, how do you think they would do, who could win a 500 GP race?
Oh man, I'm gonna go with fuck. I gotta do Valentino. Fucking fuck.
You mean the guy who did win a 500 GP race? What kind of question is that?
God damn it, that is a trap. I don't like that trap.
Damn, you fucking fell right into that. Right. Bobby Rides Bikes wants us to do a 3-hour episode on Tito. That's coming. Yeah,
No, it's not.
Yeah, exactly.
It's gonna be so hard.
And then Troy Shear wants more ways that Dorna's trying to control my mind. We just covered that.
We should.
Yeah,
mind
exactly.
blown
Fucking up
on
your
that one.
burritos. They're fucking implanting you.
Yeah, Alexander Hauschwitz wants to know what kind of magic sauce was sprinkled on the Suzuki. Clearly, that was Zook jizz.
That was cocaine. I already told you that.
Just coked up and send him out.
Didn't you see the guy with the poster in front of like the White House that said like, legalized cocaine? Everyone had like legalized marijuana. He's on legalized cocaine.
Nice. So, I'm covering through Transistor Planet wants to know, has Zarco ever killed anybody? I'm not saying he has. I'm just saying maybe he killed a chick in what was that meme? Bill O'Reilly killed and raped a girl in 1993 or something? It was like, what's just people... You don't remember? No, it was Glenn Beck. Seriously, guys, look that up. It was Glenn Beck killed and raped a girl in 1995 or something like that. And it was people trying to create a meme that Glenn Beck was like a killer rapist. Has Zarco ever killed anybody? I don't think so.
I would think he killed. I would think he killed his like clone twin.
Right. I don't.
If I had to guess.
Zarco has
I
a
could
clone
get behind
twin.
that.
Damn,
he had one until he killed it. That's my point.
The same guy also wants to know if we're ever going to be able to quit our day jobs and do this for a living. As long as we talk about shitty burritos and why The Core was the most underrated movie of all time, yes, I'm sure someone wants to pay us to hear that.
Kev has a pretty good chance. I probably do not. Rob might be able to be his engineer that he takes with him. I don't know.
Our day jobs are they vary quite wildly here. I'm not so sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Will I be able to do this and afford motorcycle racing? I don't know.
All right. I got a bummer one, but it's true. Our man Panigale John, who's on his own little series of being mentioned in the episode, wants to know if he was the only one that was depressed during after that race, seeing Dovi's chances fade. Seriously, I was depressed. No, man, you aren't. Hell of peeps. We're seriously bummed about it. Because it wasn't like Marquez beat him in a knockout, drag-out fight, and well, that's how the cookie crumbles. It was like Dovi fucked up. He was totally irrelevant. He was in the back, and Marquez just maxed. It was like, that's why I couldn't be, like, we covered. Couldn't get into it because I was so bummed that Dovi wasn't there to at least make an honest battle out of it.
All right. This is like an intervention. Real quick, there's like an intervention. If you need help, find help. There's a support network out there. If you need to go to a meeting, go to a meeting. All hope is not lost.
If you need to go to a meeting, there's a MotoGP race on pretty soon.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Call Kev. He'll cry with you. He can be your sponsor. It's all good. Do not go back and regress.
Right.
The thing that really got me about the celebrations toward the end is it just really looked like, or you knew from the race that Marquez wasn't really cheering his win so much. He was cheering the fact that Dovi finished so far behind. And it just ate at my chest, like ate at my heart that they were cheering about that, and I just couldn't get into it anymore. And oh man,
yeah, it was rough because the disparity of results really killed it for me. It was like, fuck. I was up late with my girlfriend. We're watching it. We're drinking, having a good time. It's an amazing race, but the whole time I'm in the back like, fuck. It's like you go to a party with all your bros. There's skanks everywhere, but you got that one friend who can't hook up with a girl, and now he's in the back and he's like petting the dog, and you're like, fuck, bro. Like, the guy's name is Gary, and he
Stewart, get it right.
It's Stewart. He thought his button-up shirt full of Playboy cover magazines was going to be a hit, but it's not 1998, and now Stewart is regulated to the back, and like all your friends are picking up chicks. I mean, all of them are doing it. It's all good. Everyone's having a good time. And then Stewart's like, I don't really want to do any cocaine, bro. It's like, that stuff's bad for you. And it's like, fuck. That's how I felt about Dovi. Like, basically, Dovi was the dude in the corner jacking off at the gangbang. He's still there. He's still going to finish, but it's just not the same. It's just not the same. And every good gangbang has to have an observer in the back jacking off. Don't ask me how I know. But I'm just saying, Dovi was the guy in the corner jacking off with no one to help him out. And everyone else is having a dope time. There's jizz and coke and fucking juice everywhere. And Dovi's...
He's watching Iannone. He's watching Iannone's gangbang.
Right.
I was going to ask, who do you think Iannone designates someone for that position, like each time they go to a game?
Fuck, we had one fucking fan on the Facebook who said she wanted to be that dude.
I want to be that guy masturbating.
She said Jennifer Unruh. I'm not sure. I probably fucking butchering that name. I was like, "What's up with the gangbang?" And she's like, "I like to watch." I'm like, "Damn, she is saucy."
That's now 3 women that have left comments. They all need to be friends on Facebook.
Yeah, they all are.
Like from last episode.
Yeah.
Is this where we let her know she's not the weird one?
No, yeah, exactly.
All right, Kev, get us 1 or 2 more.
Is Zarco too aggressive? No, he's not. He just doesn't have enough of a plan to back up the aggression.
It's got big honking balls, man. Like
we didn't really talk about it that much. Like, Maverick put in some hard moves. Like, he pushed Rossi out but it wasn't an aggressive move. It was just like they very slowly came together. I guess the consequences of Marquez's move would be if he tucked the front rubbing into Rossi, they both would have crashed. But the same is true of every single Zarco move, and Zarco did like 6 or 7 of them. Like every single time that he went for hard passes, he could have taken someone else out. Yeah. Like, who did he run into the back tire of in one of the slow right-handers? Was it Marquez?
I think it was Maverick. He clipped his rear
Zarco
tire.
It was Maverick.
Yeah, it was Maverick.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pumpkin hard ciders deep, so don't judge me because I'm a basic bitch. But I don't remember the specifics because I'm a little too drunk for it.
Yeah, if Zarco had the plan to actually fight for the win of the race, we might be talking about this a little bit differently. But to see someone that's just up their balls to the wall and is just ruining everyone else's chance, it's hard not to look at it that he was going too hard. That he was too aggressive.
Right. He was going too hard, title Rob sex tape.
And it didn't work out. He finished well behind.
Right. I finished well behind. That's more title Rob sex tape. I got a real good question. Here's a listener question that's going to turn this hour-and-a-half episode into a 2.5-hour episode, which is if Andre Iannone could fuck one, marry one, kill one, choosing only from the MotoGP grid, who would he choose? If we are playing Andre Iannone fuck, marry, kill, we have reached peak Broto. Peak Broto's been achieved.
He would marry Valentino that's already done.
You think so?
Oh yeah, he's got a man crush for fucking days on Valentino.
I know he's got a man crush, but is Valentino marriage material?
Are we discussing
for him? He is. That's who he'd pick. I'm not saying that's who.
I need to know, I need to know the ground rules of Andre Iannone fuck, marry, kill. Is this including the junior classes and the intermediate classes?
GP only.
GP paddock only.
Grown men only.
So, of the grown men racers, who would Andre Iannone fuck? Of the grown men, which of those grown men would he marry, and then which one of them would they kill?
It would have to be a fuckboy like Redding or Bautista with like neck tats and shit. It would have to be those two he'd fuck for sure.
Yeah, I was thinking he would kill one of them.
Oh, you think he might go pretty boy for a fuck?
He would kill Tito because no one would care. No one would care. Tito's like
No, he'd kill Sam Lowe's because we just forget about him.
Right, because Sam Lowe's is going to be gone anyway. It's the perfect cover. If someone's going to bounce, he just ice him. So, okay, so my answer definitely, I'm agreed with fucking Everett. He kills Sam Lowe's. So Andre,
he kills Rins. He kills Rins. He said.
No, I said
Rob
Lowe's.
said Lowe's.
Okay,
Lowe's.
Rob says Lowe's, in which I agree with Rob, but Everett claims that he would kill Rins because he wants to fucking get the guy out of the picture. Okay,
I don't know about that. I think that's too. There's too much. It would come back to him on that one. He would get caught.
I just got to thank Adam Tabor. This is the greatest question we've ever had.
At what point in time does this take place? Because if he could go all the way back to his Moto 2 days,
no, this is 2017. This is 2017. This is not.
He could go back.
This is not Back to the Future time travel rules.
All right,
it happens now. He has to do it right now.
I say Rossi marry, Rins kill, and then he fucks. He does a gangbang with fucking Bautista and Redding.
Fuck.
Tattoo big bang.
I feel like there'd be way too many tats in that gangbang. I think he's gonna go for a pretty boy.
Yeah, he's gonna go.
I think he chooses Danny. I think he chooses Danny.
I was thinking Danny for marriage material, though. You know?
Yeah, you might be right.
Polite little. Like, does he get to fuck? Does he get to keep a bitch on the side even after he gets married? So he can keep fucking.
Traditional definitions. It's his wedding night. He's about to marry Danny. Because if I was gonna bring any GP racer home to meet my mom, it'd be Danny. I wouldn't have Iannone or Scott Redding within a fucking country mile of my mom, but Danny all day long. So I'm going with he's gonna marry Danny. But it's the fucking bachelor party. It's the wedding night. There's a shitload of coke, a shitload of lube. It's a fucking gangbang galore, and one of those guys has his eyes on the prize, and that fucking prize is his schlong. Who is gonna take a ride on the stash?
Jesus Christ, this
Oh,
is disgusting.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad. Yeah, I'm gonna go with he fucks Valentino, marries Danny, and kills Sam Lowe's. That's my answer.
I don't think he fucks Valentino.
No?
Nope.
No, I think it's just the ultimate bro down between the two of them. But all right, who does he fuck then, Kev?
Fuck. I think he hate fucks Marquez.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I was saying. Maybe a Marquez, something in there.
He skull fucks him.
I'm just saying this
man.
is the greatest. Everett doesn't agree with me on our outline topic. This is the greatest question we've ever received.
This is problematic. This is just problematic in so many ways.
Hey, you know, Nate, you want to come on the show for an interview, bro?
That's the new question we're gonna ask everybody.
Right.
Oh man. Oh, I can't wait to see what responses we get over this listener question. This is going to be amazing. And I can't wait to see what other listeners try and top this with.
Yes,
I agree. This is the greatest question we've ever had.
I ask this question every single time, and a lot of you want real questions, but also a lot of you want me to talk about homeless dudes taking dumps in public. Like a lot. Like way more than I think that want to actually hear about GP. So I'm just saying, please top that question. You can't, but I'm putting it out there. That's the Mark Marquez of questions, straight up. I mean, I wish we had sound effects so I could do the George Sakai. Oh my. Oh my.
You just have to ask in post-production, Kev.
Right.
That's all you got to do. All right, Kev. Should we close it out on that one, or you want to round it out with an actual motorcycle racing question?
Maybe we should bounce back to actual motorcycle racing question, because I feel like on a valid discussion of who Andrea Iannone would fuck and kill and marry in the thing is a bit strange. Okay, final question. Senior Duck. This is a real question because it starts with if MM93 and AD04. Okay? So if MM93 and AD04, Mark Marquez, were the owner of a taco joint and the homeless dude who dropped a trowel and took a dump, who in this scenario vis-a-vis the race and who had championship implications? Who is who in this scenario?
So one of them, I don't know if I've kept up with that whole thing.
One of them owns the taco store, and the other one is the dude who took a shit in it. Who is who?
And it's Mark Marquez and who?
and Andre Dovizioso.
Oh, Mark Marquez is definitely taking a shit in Toby's store. It's gotta be. He's getting a dump taken on him. Just shit on him.
Can we justify it the other way? Because I really want to try.
Dovy's too nice to shit on somebody's floor. He just wouldn't do it.
Right.
I feel like if we got that question after Motegi, I might be able to go the other way. But, oh man. Not after this last round.
No, Marquez is just reckless. He'll just shit on your floor.
Yeah. Yep.
Dovy's
all right, that's what we're going with. Mark Marquez took the dump. Dovey owns the taco shop.
Yeah.
All right, everyone.
Right, because I see Dovey comes home from the taco shop. He's cleaned up the dump. He takes his jacket off. He hangs it on the hanger next to the door, and he goes, "Man, what a day!" And his pretty wife hands him a beer. Goddamn day, and his shitty ass snotty kids are running around.
Holds his wife, his kid. Yeah.
He sits on the couch. His kid comes up, and he fucking puts on the stone, like the dad face, like he's there, he's good, right? But the wife knows something's wrong. That night, he's a little sullen over dinner. He's not quite as excited to like watch what the fucking game with the kid. They're watching baseball, and they go to bed, and Dovey's wife has like a nightgown that goes from the fucking bottom of her jaw all the way to her toes, right? Because they're married and she doesn't give a fuck anymore. And she's like, "What happened?" And he goes, "Marquez took a dump on my floor today."
That's what he did this weekend. That's totally true.
That's what he
dumped
did.
on his floor.
Right, and then she says, "What did you do?" And he's like, "Well, I really want to hit him, but I can't because the store needs to stay open. I got to put food on the table because these kids need to go to college." And she pats him on the leg and says, "You're a good man, Andrea," and then flips off.
Yeah,
the
did
leg.
you call the police? Nope, wasn't even worth it.
Right.
Nothing I could do.
Yep.
Think he'll be back.
And on that note,
probably.
All right, we're closing this one out
Everyone
now.
knows what defeated dad syndrome looks like. Everyone knows what defeated dad syndrome looks like.
Gangbangs, murder, fuck, kill. That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we went there.
Right.
We totally went there.
Fuck yeah.
All right, everyone. Thanks for
All right.
listening. We will catch you after Sepang, and hopefully this will be a good one.
No, hold on. We may catch you
Sepang,
before
bang, bang.
Sepang, cause Rob, maybe extra episode because
I'm not gonna.
you're not gonna mention. You're not gonna mention secret
Nope.
stuff. Dang.
Nope. Secret stuff.
Okay.
Something's gonna happen. Something's gonna happen.
Hint,
Something
hint,
big.
nudge, nudge.
Yeah.
Something's afoot at the Circle K.
Something is afoot.
All right, everyone. Take it easy, and we'll catch you in a week.
All right, later.
Sapang bang.